Well, it's friend of the show, Shaq Barry.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed having him on. I hope you guys did too when we did, because that'll be the last time. Because we don't need that type of nonsense on this show. Listen, it'll be just like the Super Bowl. If between now and Sunday night, 4 of the Chiefs' starting offensive linemen go down with injury, as happened before the Super Bowl, and if in that game they get more pressures on Mahomes than any other game in NFL history, or at least playoff history, as happened in the Super Bowl, no, I don't think it's going to be the same thing. I also don't think that Todd Bowles is going to be able to resist his natural inclinations and urge to blitz. So Bowles made his whole career on sending extra people and getting pressure that way. I think it threw the Chiefs off that in the Super Bowl, he did not do that. They were able to get pressure anyway, and it's one of the reasons the Bucs had the success that they did. But I am excited to see this matchup, even more so now, and I'm excited for 2 reasons primarily. First one is this, Brew. This Bucs defense has dominated every quarterback they faced. True. They made Dak play one of the worst games of his life. They made Jameis play probably not one of the 10 worst games of his life, but a bad game. I know that's your guy, but it was a real bad Jameis game. And then this past week, it looked like Rodgers was going to get him, and then they totally shut Rodgers down for 2.5 quarters. So now you have Patrick Mahomes. You know the Chiefs aren't going to be able to run the ball because nobody can run the ball in Tampa. They've been the best run defense in football for the last couple of years. Nobody's really been able to run on success since Bowles has been there, but certainly since Brady and Bowles have been there. And so it's going to come down to Patrick. And it's going to come down to Patrick Mahomes, whether they blitz him or not, and whether the offensive line is good or mediocre, if he can make enough plays. Because I don't think Tampa can score 24 points. So the question is, can Mahomes score enough? 24 would have been plenty for any of the Bucs opponents thus far. Right. Nobody's been able to do it. So I'm excited for it. I do not think it's going to look like the Super Bowl, though. I don't think any Tampa Bay players are going to be punching Mahomes in the face and have it not be called as we showed in that highlight. And I don't think he's going to be pressured 31 times as he was in the Super Bowl.
Well, my reaction to Shaq's comments are 2 words: psychological warfare. All right, he knew what he was doing, and he got Nick. You see the fire in his eyes. Nick is rattled. He's upset.
Well, I'm not rattled. I'm angry.
Okay, you're angry. But see, that's part of psychological warfare. He wants to get the Chiefs angry because, you did all this. You revamped the offensive line. Like you said, they played with 2 backups in the Super Bowl. And he's like, I've been watching film all week, and y'all look the same.
Well, it is true. Right. Against the Colts, the offensive line didn't look good at all. That part is true.
And that's what they've still only given up 2 sacks all year. So I get what you're saying. It's a totally different offensive line, but for 1 player. And they have protected Mahomes a lot better. But he is playing with their minds. It's like if you got a new suit and you were like, I can't wait till Brew and Wild see this. I'm going to be sharp. Yeah. And hey guys, how you like the suit? And we're like, it's all right.
Same one.
Right. He's trying to get in their head. And if they get angry, as athletes, you don't want to get angry.
I don't know that.
Because when you played at some level, I'm sure.
No, that's not what I don't know that's necessarily. I think offensive linemen angry, it can be a good thing.
You don't want to get outside of yourself. You don't want to get too emotional about things. You want to play within yourself. And I think he's trying to mess with their minds so that come Sunday, he can have his way with it.
Did you think it was that calculated? I didn't think it was that calculated. I think it was Shaq Barrett just being like, we've been kicking everybody's ass. We're going to do the same to them.
Yeah.
I don't think he watched some film and wasn't impressed.
I agree with that. It felt like he was going to say meaner things. And that was the nicest version. Yep. It came off kind of mean. It was psychological warfare. Both quarterbacks coming off of a loss. If we can look at their head-to-head record, 2 wins for Mahomes, 3 for Tom Brady. Yeah. Nick, somebody's got to lose. Yeah. Somebody's losing 2 in a row. Who losing would it be worse for, Brady or Mahomes?
I think it'd be worse for Mahomes. I think it'd be worse for the Chiefs because they're in the far tougher conference and because there's only, right now, until the Chiefs figure out if they do have an improved running game like they thought they were going to, and as the defense, they lost Willie Gay, to suspension. He's one of their best players. Their first-round corner rookie, the 21st pick of the draft, McDuffie, he's on IR for the time being. Right now, the Chiefs, even though it's different receiving weapons, it's kind of same old Chiefs in this regard. There's one way to win. Mahomes got to be great.
Right,
like, that's been the story for him throughout his time there. He's had great players, great coaches, all that stuff. But you haven't been able to be like, okay, Mahomes can have a bad game and the Chiefs are going to be able to win. There was the month of football last year where that happened, but nobody thought that was long-term sustainable. The Chiefs, everyone in the Colts game played, well, I shouldn't say everyone. The defense played well enough for them to win that Colts game. The special teams wasn't great, but also, if we're being fair, wasn't a great Mahomes game. He missed MVS on an open touchdown. He didn't make the spectacular plays you expect him to make. I think the Bucs understand, even at 2-2, this is the hardest part of their schedule. It gets far softer from here on out. The rest of the division looks even worse than we could have imagined going into the year. I think at 2-2, they're going to feel like we're going to be an 11-win team and win this division by accident. I think if the Chiefs go to 2-2, some questions start to creep in that otherwise I don't think would exist. And so I think for the Chiefs and for Mahomes, it's a more important game.
Well, questions like, would Mr. Unlimited and Denver, are they going to take over this division?
No,
because they would be in first place. Well, they would actually,
win as well.
if they win, they'll be in first place,
yeah,
which they may do. So that would be number one. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something Monday morning?
Monday.
If
it'll be
Denver's
a good
in first place in the AFC West?
Yeah, it could happen. It also could happen that Baker's in first place in the NFC South. Like, we'll see. Like, we get wins and losses. We'll see.
Okay, but I am with you that it is harder. It is going to be a more concerning loss for the Chiefs if they lose. It's not devastating for either team. They're both still going to make the playoffs. We know that. But you mentioned it. They got a much tougher division with Kansas City. The division, I thought New Orleans would do something this year. Maybe they will, but at this point, they look bad. Obviously, Carolina and Atlanta do. But here's the biggest thing. There's a cavalry coming for Tampa Bay. All right, Chris Godwin is walking through that door.
Okay.
And Julio Jones, I imagine, is going to walk through that door.
Gingerly limping through the door.
And maybe Odell Beckham Jr. might be walking.
Okay,
they're going to get help. They got people coming back.
Maybe.
No, Godwin's not coming back. Godwin's not coming back.
Yes.
Okay, forget Julio. Godwin.
Yeah, that's
and
one.
Godwin and Mike Evans. Oh, Godwin can play. I like Chris Godwin.
Yeah, but
for the record.
Yeah,
I do
okay,
too.
we all do.
There's no one else coming. There's the cavalry coming. Trust me. There's no one else coming for Kansas City. This is your squad.
Yeah, but they've got their kickers coming back, their linebackers coming back, their corners coming back.
Okay.
You can't just
the kicker.
But they lost last week's game because of the kicker.
True.
Hold on.
Well,
I understand what you're saying, Brew. Can I say something a little? I don't want to say separate from who needs it more, but more predictive about this. I think Mahomes is furious about how this game went on Sunday. Not just that they lost, but the previous game against the Colts. The not being able to go for it before the half. We saw him get upset with Bieniemy. They kicked the field goal inside the 10. They ran a fake field goal rather than just leaving him on the field. He has not had, since week one, really the oh my God, wow moments over the last two games, except for the one pass to the Watson kid against the Chargers. He's playing Brady, who was, in the Bucs, the opponent for the toughest loss of his entire professional career. I think Mahomes has a kick-ass vintage Mahomes.
Well, and
if that happens, I'm into it.
Well, hold on. Everything you said is right. And if you come in with that attitude and still can't win against a Tampa Bay team that's not clicking offensively, that is a worse loss than it would be for the Bucs.
I can tell you why I'm worried about Tom Brady and the Bucs.
Sure.
If the Bucs lose in a shootout, I'd be fine. Brady's back. But if he loses in a 20-14 game, or if Mahomes really goes off and he doesn't, I think I'm going to aggressively make an offer to a former Fox employee. First, I want to show you the Brady graphic, the last 3 years of where Brady has been through weeks 1 through 3.
Yeah.
2 years ago, great. Last year, 10-2, great. This year, 673 yards, 3-1. So you know what I say? I'm a, pretend friend of Tom Brady. A friend in need is a friend indeed. And Rob Gronkowski, I'm not going to tell you what to do. But one of us has to go down there and help out Tom Brady. The cavalry is not coming. It's either going to be you or me, friend. I'd prefer if it was Rob Gronkowski. But if he's not willing to go, I I'm going to say this on national television. I am going to leave the show and go try to help Tom Brady because he needs more weapons. And if Gronk doesn't want to do it, I will be called to action. And I will answer that call.
I think at this point you'd be about as much help.
Is that a compliment or insult?
So all the Gronk talk is nonsense to you.
Yes.
Even if he wants to come back.
Even if he wants to come back, I don't think
he'll help in the red zone.
Of course he would.
I don't, guys. At some point, first of all, you have to believe a guy when he's like, I don't have that much football left in me anymore.
Time out.
Hold on.
No, we called time out.
Yeah.
In the barbershop, he said he was going to let Tom Brady sweat it out, and then he would come back.
I understand that. And I also understand that last year, Rob Gronkowski was not a significant difference maker. He wasn't.
It's just here or there, though. A big play here or there. That's all they need. I agree. He's not going to, light it up and be a Pro Bowler. But here or there, he could make a big catch.
I think that we are I think we're kidding ourselves if we're acting like what the Bucs need right now is an additional intermediate option at tight end. What they need right now is for the offensive line to get healthier, which it's not, except for Donovan Smith coming back. And what they need right now is people to stretch the field vertically, which they're getting back with Mike Evans. I think they win that Bucs game or the Packers game if Evans were there. And I agree with you that Godwin is an important guy to come back if he's anything like the pre-injury Godwin. I just disagree.
And it makes the other guys better. It makes Scotty Miller better. Scotty Miller's being exposed. All right, for a limited receiver.
I think there's only so much better Scotty Miller. Scotty Miller had his moment in the sun.
He looked good in the past.
No, he had
when
one
he was
play
like the number 5 receiver.
Game. That's fine.
That's what
I don't think Gronk's a difference maker for him, Wildes. I'd love to support you, but I don't think he is. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.